Hello, I'm Marilee Rosine Beasley, and today I'm coming to you. It happens to be the Saturday before Mother's Day. It is also Nurses Week. I happen to be both a nurse and a certified school teacher. It's elementary. I'm also a reading specialist. And so I'm very interested in things that I can do with students that are activities that are free or almost free. And I know that right now that a lot of parents are home with their children and they're not sure at this point what else they can do. So I want us to make many suggestions of things that you might consider doing. Now, over here, I have a lot of leaves and from plants and from trees that are in my yard. Now, if you live in an apartment, what I would suggest is maybe walk around the block, go to a park nearby, someplace, and pick up different leaves. And I want to point out that I have these plants. Some people call it the wandering Jew plant. A friend of mine who's from Pakistan says where he lives they call it the money plant. I don't know, but it is very prolific. I was warned to not put it in a garden and to put it in a pot, which I have done. So this has come off from some trees in my yard. Here's another kind. Here's another. This is what's I believe called a dollar plant. It's more like a weed of some sort. Anyway, I just noticed that it was such a different shape leaf. It's round. As some of you who might have seen some of my videos know, I have been I rooted these onions in water, and they've been growing like this. Now here's another plant or another tree that's in my yard, and this is after they mature they fall off and apparently turn yellow. So here's another tree, and over here is a plant that used to be hardly even alive, and I had it in the shade and watered it a little bit every day, almost every day. And I noticed, I just wanted to show the contrast of the shape of the leaves. I have a lot of this that I took from where I used to live, and you can see that this is a very different shape. Then of course here's some, these are from a pine tree, these are pine needles. And I'm just showing you that there's such a variety. So if you have a student that might be interested in looking at the differences of these different leaves from trees or from plants, this might be an activity that they could do. It doesn't cost any money. It's just what you can find walking around. Now, it happens that I like shells. And so over the years, I've collected some shells. This one I probably saved from a restaurant, maybe in the New Orleans, because I go to Louisiana quite a bit, and so maybe that's from that situation. Some of these I may have purchased. This one I think I brought back from a trip, someplace that was tropical that I was visiting. This thing right here, I don't remember when I acquired it, but it's obvious that there was something living in here. I just don't remember. Now, these are newer. I go to a restaurant in my neighborhood called Adriatic Cafe, and they have mussels on the menu, and it occurred to me one night that I could take these home, and I might even be able to turn this into some kind of an ornament to put on a tree in the winter, and do something perhaps with putting some together. Maybe take a hot glue gun and put a bow with it. I'm not sure yet, haven't decided. So anyway, this is something left over from the restaurant, and so I brought that home. Another thing, just to tell everybody, to remind them, I take the leaves that wherever and put them together, put them into like a compost pile. I do also like to take a few minutes. It's sort of restful for me to just cut some of these up and make them into smaller pieces, and that way when I put them into a compost pile they'll break down sooner. I just wanted to show you some different books that I've acquired along the way. I very much like buying National Geographic, old National Geographic magazines. This one I paid 50 cents. I bought it probably at Half Price Books, and it happens that I am a descendant of the Vikings. The most that I am is Scandinavian. My father's grandfather immigrated from Gotland, Sweden, and so this would be something I'd be very interested in, is Vikings. But I got it because I like to buy them with a good value, 50 cents. And from time to time, they have them for 50 cents or $1. So this is something that's not very expensive, that somebody can do with students, and you can do all kinds of things. They have wonderful maps, just all kinds of amazing articles. So this is an idea. Now, I'm not sure where this came from. It was in some things I had. It's done by Life Magazine, Godzilla, some interesting things about that, and that might be something that would make it more fun to do some reading. Now, I go to a nearby branch library, the Fairbanks Library. It's very close to Jersey Village. They often have books for kids and for adults that are they're donated, and then they ask for a certain donation amount, which I will do, and then I will buy some of their books. I don't know if that's where this is from, but probably these two are from there. Now, another thing that I do is I do go to Half Price Books, and I will buy, I for a while was reading some mystery novels, and so this may have been one of those, I'm not sure. This book I may have actually paid full price, because occasionally I like to go to the International Quilt Show here in Houston. They will have authors come and have their books, and that's one time when I'm glad to pay full price so that I can help support the author who came to the show. Now, another thing that I like to do is just buy things that are other languages. I did live in Indonesia when I was really small. Probably Malay was my second language. Spanish is my third. I took Latin in high school. I took French in college. And I right now am looking at Italian a little bit, thinking I might be able to figure that out, because I do speak quite a bit of Spanish and French and Italian and the Romanian language, and I've been to Romania, and also Portuguese. They are all descendants of the Latin language, and so there's a lot of grammar that's similar and so forth. So anyway, I'm just sort of looking at what I might figure out right away. One of the things I remember from my childhood is that I learned the song La Cucaracha, and that was like when I was in elementary school. We used to sing La Cucaracha and dance when we called it rhythms, and it was when one day a week, as I recall, when we had gym, we would do folk dances and learn the different folk songs and other songs to go along with it. And it happens to that I believe that it is very easy when you learn to sing a song. I still remember Frère Jacques in French. In fact, for whatever reason, Frère Jacques comes into my mind in French first, and then I can do it in English or Spanish. In fact, French, Spanish, and then English. So that is a childhood memory of mine. And that could be something that if you want your children to be exposed to other languages, do it in some kind of song like La Cucaracha or Frère Jacques. Another thing I wanted to show you is I belong to the Houston Egg Art Guild. And somebody that is one of our members who lives in England, Linda Martin, does these incredible magazines about the art of the eggshell. And to me, some of the things that you see in these magazines I believe should be in museums. They are so incredible, the different ideas, the quality, the different things that they do, they're just exquisite. So I would encourage you to think about egg art. I've been very much interested in teaching others, starting with chicken eggs. Our group does do some workshops, and we do practice different techniques. So these are amazing, just amazing artists. My friend Linda Martin does live in England. She does go to some other places in the U.S. and also in Europe. And then she also, other people send her information. So just to let you know about this, The Art of the Eggshell. And this does, I believe, come out, I think, every few months. The final thing I want to show you is something that I have been working on recently, and I have a bassinet that I'm preparing for a baby, and I happen to have some leftover mattress cover, and this bassinet needed a little mattress. So what I did is I considered how I was going to do that. I knew that I had this, and so I washed it, made sure it was nice and clean. Now, in order to make a pattern, I took parchment paper, and then what I did is I laid the parchment paper down in the bottom of the bassinet, and it was just about the right width across, so I didn't have to do any cutting there. Then I took a magic marker type, or a Sharpie, made some approximate lines across here. Then what I did is I took this pattern, then I folded it in half, and then I folded it again. Okay, and then I used this as a rough idea of where I needed to be. So now so now I cut it a little bit longer, and now after it was cut, and it, I have now an approximation of what I want, and all four corners will be the same because of folding and folding. Okay, now, this is where I am right now in the process. I have 2 king-size sheets, pillowcases. Now, I am going to trim this just a little bit more, and then what I'm gonna do, I've never done this before, but this is an opportunity to try a new product. I got this, Hobby Lobby is now open. I got this no-sew fabric glue. It's a product from a company that I buy a lot of glue, Aleene's Glue, and I'm gonna see how this works. And this is what I plan to do. This is one of the pillowcases. I'm gonna wash them, and then I'm going to cut this pillowcase the way I need it to be, and then I'm going to glue this. I'm gonna trim this right here, make it a little bit more even, and then I'm going to take this, I'm gonna trim it after I wash it, and I'm going to glue it all together, and then I'll end up with this nice little soft mattress. Then what I'll do, I'm gonna do 2 of these, and then I'm going to, after it's been glued and it dries, then I'm going to have a regular pillowcase that I can slip inside of it, and then if it becomes soiled, the mother or whoever's taking care of the baby can take this off and wash this. They can wash this other piece, and then in the meantime, I'm going to make a second one of these, so they'll have a fresh one, and then one can be in the laundry. So this is a way that I was able to make my own little mattress thing, and not take too much time to do it, and use something that I already have. I did, already had the parchment paper, and I bought the glue and got some king-size pillowcases. It happened that I didn't have any white pillowcases king-size, so I decided to go ahead and buy some new ones. Anyway, this is just a way to do something that I think is going to be pretty simple. This doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. The baby's not going to know, and it happens that I did buy very nice quality pillowcases. They're soft, so it'll be nice for this for the baby that sleeps here. Anyway, these are just some ideas that you can do with your students while they're home. These are inexpensive ideas. You can go to the library, check out books. I do that a lot. Or you can go ahead and maybe get paid for some donations for some donated books. And there's lots of things that are right around all of us that are free or almost free. Thank you.